Welcome to the Overcomers Overcoming podcast series, where we profile those who have overcome or are in the process of overcoming a life topic. Some of these life topics seem to be just too difficult to overcome, but our purpose in this is to let people know that they are not alone in whatever it is they are going through. We want people to know that there is a solution, and frequently multiple solutions, to any challenge they're going through. And if perhaps a decision that if you had it to do over again, you would have made a different decision, was brought you to this point, we want to help you with critical thinking to be able to think into all the facts and factors that can lead to a very informed decision. I'm Ron Cooper, founder of the Cooper Culture, and I am with my wife and business partner, Marty. The Cooper Culture is sponsoring this podcast series. We hope that we can garner a 5-star rating from you, and you'll want to subscribe to this series. We featured today the third episode with Corey Green. Marty, he has a unique story in talking about purpose. What are some things that you took from this and you would encourage our listeners to gain from this?
Ron, I'm encouraging our listeners to listen to Corey as he talks about working on his business for 14 years, and people, the naysayers and all those saying, why are you doing this? It's taking you this long. Listen to Corey's determination in not paying attention to what they said, but his determination to make it, because he found his purpose, his passion, and his love to help other people.
And Marty, when that is combined with pursuing a God-ordained goal, nothing is going to stop a person from achieving that goal. He did experience some failings, but he overcame any thoughts of being a personal failure to where he was able to achieve a life purpose. Listen also to how others over this 14-year process affirmed that life purpose. It is just a fascinating story, but you too can help determine your life purpose through Corey's inspiration. Let's listen together. Corey, thank you so much for joining us again for this third episode. Corey, you've been very eloquent in talking to us about a life purpose. I sense that you, having gone through what you have in childhood, you've overcome that, and through all of that, you've developed a life purpose. Corey, I think based on your experience, your perception, and you can help a lot of people who are saying, you know, I've heard a lot about this topic of life purpose. I don't feel that I have one, or if it's a matter of discerning what that is, I'm just not sure. Corey, I think a lot of people are going to benefit from your story. So can you tell us just how you evolved, if that's an appropriate term, to discern your life purpose?
Yes, I can. Thank you again for having me on. It's an honor to be here as always. What I've learned is this, that you have to go back to childhood. You have to go back to the purest form that you were, I think, and that's what did it for me, was to think about what I wanted to be when I got older. And expressing that out loud was also something I did to my mother. And I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do completely, but I knew I liked martial arts because of the movie Karate Kid. And it was at that moment, being young, 7 years old. Some people don't find this what they want to do until they're older, like 14, 15. But there's going to be a moment, I believe, you become an adult. You have this burning desire, which what our purpose is to do something. And I think when we're innocent, our goals are really pure and positively driven. And because we want to help other people, or we want to provide something to make the world a better place, or offer service, do the same thing. And so when you're a child and you ask yourself, hey, what do I want to be? Sometimes outside forces, more often outside forces, prevent you from doing that because of discouragement from family, from friends. And they kind of shoot down your dream. And on top of all that, the younger generation in the past 20, 30 years, their creativity has also been squandered and squashed. And entrepreneurialism has been squashed. because the corporations don't like competition. That's why they only keep you so far in the education process and don't teach you about finances in order to become successful and free your life. So when you're a child, you think about that. So what I told my mom, I said, Mom, what do you want me to be? And she goes, honey, you can be anything you want to be. I said, this is what I said. Can I be the President of the United States? And she says, if you want to be, that's what you want. And I said, no, I don't want to be the President of the United States. I want to be a karate man. And she's like, okay, well, then you're going to be a karate man. Well, my friend that lived right down the road, he told me he wanted to make movies. And we were the same age. And guess what? He makes movies in Hollywood. He works as a director. So he spoke it, as well as I, spoke it into existence, what we wanted to do. And we followed that passion in order to get to those goals and get through all those hoops to make things happen, because we had that vision. So you can make those things happen as long as you know what you want to do. Now, that's part of it. So purpose through adversity is where we really need to focus on this, because growing up, we had a lot until I was age 11. My first went on welfare from age 11 to 18. Had nothing. It was really hard because we had a list of food we had to get, and we couldn't go and get what we want. It was really specific, and we were shamed in schools because we were so poor of having to get in elementary school, if you didn't have the money to get lunch, they made you sit on the bleachers eating peanut butter and crackers while everyone could watch you. So that is so sad. It was shaming you for being poor. So it's something you didn't want to be. So that right there, what pushed me to want to get out of that situation. So self-discovery is one way to find your purpose. You discover it, you know what you want to do. But also inspiration can be another. You see someone do something and you want to do that too. Or someone tells you that you might be good at something and you don't even know that you're good at. And they see things in you that you don't see. So, and try to always take that positive. But combining those together, being inspired and self-discovery, is a very powerful combination, which can further direct your life's path if you're focusing on those goals. And so that's what you have to do first. You have to find that purpose. The second thing you have to do is establish your purpose. Like, whatever you find, if it's a service or product, and once you discover it, you know that you're good at this, the next step is to establish what you have discovered as your purpose and learn as much as you can about your dream. You have to work towards that particular dream. Now, let's say you're working towards the dream like everybody else out there because they have the same dream you do. However, what separates you from everybody else is you have to hone and perfect that purpose, whether it be, again, a service or a product. There's the main two things you can offer people is service and product to help people. And then the last thing is once you've discovered and found and established and you've honed and perfected your purpose, you know what your life is about, what you're supposed to do. But there's outside forces that will try to prevent you from fulfilling those dreams. And what we're talking about right now versus COVID and how it affects hundreds of thousands of businesses. So the last step, once you've done all this, to not lose it all, you have to defend your purpose. And that means you have to take the necessary steps to ensure that your purpose continues on and is not compromised. Having multiple avenue streams helps anyone and is one of the keys to success. Laser-like focus is another. Determination and grit are the other characteristics. When you combine all that, these are the successful properties that people possess throughout their lives, and that's how they're able to accomplish all these different dreams and goals and missions and to be successful throughout life. Does that help?
It does, Corey. Let me go back to one of your very fundamental opening statements. You use the word squander, but then also affirmation. Was there a point in your life where, in the context of squander, you were uncertain who you were and what you're good at? Is that a part of the squander?
It's not that. That's a good point. Like, the word squander means to not show anyone else or to keep it to yourself. And for me, it wasn't that I wanted to not share with others. Is that as time went on, I started discovering more and more what my purpose was because of all the things that kept happening. And I didn't know fully what my purpose was until other things happened that put me on the right path. Okay? And so when I started discovering that I was on this path, then I kept working on, focusing on trying to perfect that path and perfect the way I do things. And what I'm specifically talking about is like teaching those with special needs. That's the path I know I'm supposed to be on because of the historical things that keep happening over and over again. And so as I learned that the information I was possessing became more and more powerful, it could affect people in such great positive ways. And then I realized, well, what I know is simple, and what is simple is wise. So if it's simple, that means it's duplicatable. If it's duplicatable, that means someone can steal it. So I've had to be careful about not putting stuff on YouTube, and I haven't been interviewed internationally recently to talk about my methods. But I'm happy to do that and to show some things on film when it's the right place and time, because what I truly want to do is help people. But again, you got to be careful if you know something that's very powerful, that it doesn't fall into the wrong hands. And some people that have those hands have a lot more money than you and can make it really difficult for you to gain that back, if that makes any sense. So you got, I think it's important to establish yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah. I want to ask you also, Corey, in the context of affirmation, that affirmation could be I'm going to try to fold in squander, and not that I'm trying to make that fit, but in the context of affirmation, I'm relaying a little bit of my life that, I would have liked to have had affirmation that my dreams and goals are real, that someone else agrees with me. But then I was very uncertain of myself, low confidence, low self-esteem, and so forth. I'm not sure I want to share this with people. And that's where I'm using the word squander. I'm not sure I want to share this with anybody because, if they say, boy, I cannot picture you doing that. What are you doing? Some pipe dream or something or that or other. But I'm curious with that as a bit of my personal background, Corey, in the context of affirmation, did you find yourself with maybe a new circle of friends, someone who believed in you that said, yes, now that you have verbalized what you think your purpose is, Corey, boy, I can see you doing that. Was that any part of your background?
I'm sure. I'm thinking, about, when I taught the very first kids and seeing them earn a belt, and then people wanting to, in the beginning, for when I opened the school, they started coming in. They heard, oh, there's this guy that teaches special needs kids karate, and then I started getting some students from that. And when I started seeing the results of their, their coordination and balance and stuff like that, then that was affirmation that I was on the right track. And I thought, well, if I just keep pursuing that way, there's something good that's going to come out of this. I don't know who else is doing this, but I'm not going to work on that. I'm going to focus on trying to figure out how to help them. And the affirmation of Brandon Earnshaw becoming the first person in history with autism to qualify and compete in the non-handicap division in the U.S. Nationals told me, okay, I'm on the right track. Affirmation. In 2007, the next year, I had another boy go. He got belted in less than a year. That's some more affirmation. First girl with autism, 2010, to ever go. Again, more. And then the blind lady, and then the gentleman on the U.S. team. And amongst all that, there was also kids I taught that were like 5 years old that did extremely well. So my point is that I did what I could on my end. It was up to them to produce the result it came from me, and I worked through my students, right? So their success is my success. But when they were successful, they were teaching me that other people that were their age, their disability, their ability, whatever, can do it too. So it made me a believer out of what they could do. And because that's happened so many times around, I know what people can do. I know what they're capable of doing. It's the key is pulling it out of them and for them to see it themselves. And when they see it themselves, it's very powerful.
I do see that, Corey. Let me ask you, just give me a guess. Give our listeners a guess. How long did it take you to just absolutely positively affirm your purpose? In other words, what I'm hearing you say, and I may not be interpreting it correctly, the affirmation of your purpose did not occur at an instant, but it was maybe over a period of time. Am I hearing you correctly?
You're right. It was over a period of time. And it wasn't something instantaneous. It's basically a long doctoral process. If I was going to become a doctor and whatever, this would be a big, massive study that I personally had done. And it's a trial and error thing that I had to learn through over and over again, trial and error, to find out what works. So it's not an overnight success. But when I figured out that I was onto something really big is when, in 2012, when I had Ryan go and my blind student go, and they both made history 5 times and won national championships. That made me go, I'm onto something big. And then I need to keep on this again. And it just, so I'm a naive kind of person. I'm also gullible. So I'll believe things that if you tell me that it's not, I mean, I'm good at hinting on jokes. I can get the jokes. But I'm just so not focused on myself that things often go over my head because I'm just focused on the other tasks or the other people or whatever. But it wasn't until then, and I was like, okay, I'm on something big now. Now I need to keep, and I did some research back in 2009, 2010 with the university. But again, I was in that trial phase of still trying to perfect my craft, perfect that passion. And then when I figured it out, everything just exploded. The university, going there and doing the research, gave me this explosion of creativity. And when that explosion of creativity happened, then I was like, okay, this is it. I figured out how to do this. Now I'm going to combine this. And all these things combined, separately, together, whatever, in different ways of doing it, can be done in such a way to where it's going to help direct that person that's having those problems be able to find their issue, whatever it is, and help them overcome that without using stress. And it's a holistic approach, you know. So it has to have all those check marks. You're checking all the boxes, you know, that you're able to accomplish these tasks and these goals doing these things. And that right there is purpose. And that's what drives me every day. I don't have to go to work. I get to punch and kick all day, you know. Who gets to do that?
Right. Yeah, you're right. Corey, if I'm assimilating the time frame correctly, it sounds as if it could have been something in the order of 4, maybe 5 years for you to just positively affirm in your own mind, yep, this is very definitely my purpose, my calling, and how it all fit together. And if that is generally the right time frame, if you were to map out on a sine wave, sine graph type thing, were there times when you were just uncertain if this is it, that maybe, well, I'm not real sure, but then there are other times you start on the upswing? Did you go through cycles like that?
If you lay the Michelin Man on his side and he has all those crevices, that's my business. That's my business. Up and down, up and down.
Yes.
Go ahead. I was going to say, it took me Thank you. It took me 14 years to get to 2012 before all that happened. Even the CNN news was not enough to convince me in 2006 I was on the right track. It wasn't enough because I was told when that happened by a couple people, oh, that was a fluke, you just got lucky. Ooh, that was fire. That fired me up. I was like, oh, yeah? Okay, well, let's do this again. Let's do it again. So the premise was to prove to the world that if people with special needs can do karate, then anyone can. And I think I've accomplished that.
No, it sounds as if you have, Corey. Wow, I couldn't have even imagined 14 years of this. And yes, gosh, some people told you that just a fluke and so forth, and you're thinking to yourself, no, I think this is a real thing. And I can just picture, Corey, that you overcame maybe self-doubt, but there are other people who did not believe in you, but there were those who did, and you overcame all of that. That's what I'm picturing from all of this.
But Corey, what I hear is your determination. That I hear your determination. You're not going to fail. You're going to do this.
That's right. I failed before. I know what it's like to fail. I know it's like to build everything back up over again. I don't want to go through that again. So I will do whatever it takes, morally, ethically, to make it all work. And like from my side, hustles I have to do, I have to do that because you can't depend on sometimes people or what they say they're going to do. The only person you can depend on is yourself. At first, you have to depend on yourself. And then when people see that you're a leader, you're going to get people attached to you because you're setting a good example. And that's the key as well, is surround yourself with 5 people, you hear this, that make you better. It is so true. because who you surround yourself with is who you're going to become. And if you surround yourself with successful people, not rich, just successful and good people, then you're going to turn out probably really good.
I hope our listeners heard very specifically and very importantly what you just said. Your circle of friends can be very affirming, or they can drag you down. The other thing that's just huge, Corey, you've overcome failings, but you never considered yourself to be a failure. You are moving on. Have I accurately summarized your persistence?
Keep moving forward is a great way of explaining all that. Keep moving forward. Upward, onward and upward, because you can't do much with the past. It's behind you. You can control your present. That's why it's called a present, because it's a present. It's a gift. And the future is what I like to focus on other than the present. Because if you focus on the future, you can work on those goals towards that direction. But if you're always focused on the present, then that's not going to help you get where you want to be. However, you need to be in the present. When you're in the present with other people, you have to be there. You can't just act like you're there. You have to really be sincere. You have to really care. If everyone treated everyone like that in this world, the world would be a better place. We need to get there as a society, because if we get there, it's great.
Marty and I totally agree with you. And being in the present is another way of saying that. Be engaged, totally engaged with people and what you're doing. What Marty and I are discerning from you, Corey, in your life story and purpose is you are totally engaged in, focused on advancing people. And when you know that to be your mission, nobody is going to stop you from achieving a God-ordained goal. That's what I hear from you.
That's exactly right. You know, there's so many times, if you put God first, I know in every episode we talk about God, however, that is who deserves the glory. If I didn't put God first, there would have been probably something along the way that would have put a wrench into things. And for whatever reason, it's like I got an invisible force field around me. And I even felt this strongly about this that I made a YouTube channel called Lucky Bucky, because I felt like it's more than luck. But it's not luck, it's being blessed. So it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't luck. It was the circumstances. And I'm trying to get everyone to understand that that is the case. You have to think that way. Because for me, there's, like I said, so many things that could have went wrong, but didn't. Because it was providential. It was my life's path was already written before I was born. And I'm just living in it.
Very well said. Corey, you've also mentioned focus and grit. I picture you as having developed that focus and grit over your lifetime. And in the early stage of your life, based on what we learned in episode 1, you had some disappointments in your life, however you term the word disappointments. But there were some obstacles, but you overcame all of that. And as you were developing your purpose, and we just learned through this episode, 14 years, and you had a focus, you had a grit, and there's again, no one's going to stop you from achieving your very best. And there's some people who just need that encouragement, Corey, that you've lived it, you are living it, and I think you would say to the person who said, man, I'm not sure I could ever endure 14 years of this, perhaps you would say something to the effect, you focus, you have the grit, persistence, and yes, you can if it's a God-ordained goal that you're pursuing.
That's right, and I have 6 words I want to say that will hopefully cover all that for you at once. If I made a T-shirt, which I'm going to make, it's going to say this: believe in yourself. I already do. And I'm saying that because that's the problem. People don't believe in others. If you wear that and you wear that with pride, you're telling that person that you don't even know that, hey, I believe that you're going to be successful. You need to believe in yourself. And if that's a message that everyone can get across to each other, that's one way to make it a better place. That believing in each other, that support system is crucial for you to be successful. Because if I don't have that support system from my family, from my wife, my parents, my mom, my stepdad, all that matters. And if you don't have that, it's very hard to get past it. But sometimes you have to separate yourself from the negativity and go your own path and make your own way.
Great. Corey, Marty and I want to encourage you, make that T-shirt. Believe in yourself. I already do. Gosh, Corey, that is a huge positive message and a conversation starter for those who have the temerity to engage you in conversation. They see that T-shirt. Gosh, man, tell me more about that. Is that just an expression, or tell me how you did it, because I'd like to be able to live that out in my life. Yeah, that is. Please do it, Corey.
Yeah, I'll tell you real quick what happened was it was a couple weeks ago, and I was going to get some more T-shirts with it just has our logo on it, and someone said, that's not what people are doing these days. They want to have messages on, and they want to have something that's positive. And I was like, well, I got one, and it just came to me, just like that. Just came out of thin air. That idea came. And, again, that wasn't my idea. Okay?
No, so, Corey, what happens frequently is when God works through you, there are divine appointments in the Holy Spirit working through you. Now that people trigger an idea, the rest of that can come through the Holy Spirit, and it seems that is what happened in your case, that, yes, here is the positive message, because this is God working in you, that he has worked this through you. So that's a great message.
Yes, sir. That's what I want people to know. It's more than just us. But we are the vehicles for him. We have to try to make the place a better world than what we found it. That's really part of what we're here to do. Other than leading people to Christ, that's another thing that I think we're commanded to do. I know we're commanded to do. So that's another story for another day. But so I think
you are right on target. Yes. We are called to be a disciple, Matthew 28:19, share God's word with other people. You're right on target.
Yes, sir, and we all fall short.
Corey, I have a question. I have a question with your T-shirt logo or your T-shirt message. It's to believe in yourself. So you're talking to someone and you're mentoring them and stuff like that, and your T-shirt says believe in yourself, and then you say I already do. Do you mean I already believe in you? I've already believed that you can do it? Or are you saying believe in yourself, I already believe in myself?
Both.
Both.
It's both messages, really. It's the power of someone else believing in that other person, because sometimes it takes someone else to believe in you before you believe in yourself.
Right.
And let me give an example real quick. It is right on target, Ron, and I will tell you why. In high school ROTC, when I became the battalion commander, I had help. I had a best friend of mine named Henry Babcock. He died many years ago, but he was my best friend, and he taught me drill and ceremonies, color guard, things like that. He took me under his wing. He helped me whenever he could see the need, and he reached out and he saw my promise. So he helped me become the best he could make me. And so he saw in me what I needed, but I didn't see it myself, so he helped me when I couldn't help myself.
Corey, you're right on target. I'm going to give you a very local example for me. Marty at times believes in me with a greater tenacity than forcefulness than I believe in myself. She is my greatest personnel manager and encourager. But in the context of affirmation, that you saying, I, Corey, believe in you, people are going to know if you're just placating them or just patronizing them. But when people hear you speak from the heart, and I just characterize Marty speaks more with her heart than she does her lips.
Or my mind.
Well, but that's people, Corey, hearing it straight from you. When you speak from the heart, you're going to make believers. And that is a very powerful message.
Yes, sir. And I want people to just absorb all the things I'm telling them, because it's life experiences that got me this way and got to this point. It's not just happen chance, but I have more to share, and more to try to help people with in their life. And I just want to help people. That's all I want to do.
And Corey, we do understand that. We hear it from your heart. And when you have a sincere desire and purpose, again, nothing is going to deter you from a God-ordained purpose. And one of those purposes in your life is you want to advance people. We sincerely admire that in you. And Corey, thank you so much for sharing your perspective in purpose. That's going to help a lot of people to define their purpose.
I am honored to help anytime.
Thank you, Corey. We'll see you on our next episode.
Sounds great. See you then.
See ya. Do you know your life purpose? Corey dedicated 14 years of his life to define, further refine, perfect, and affirm his life purpose. He went through various trials, and it took him a while to find the right people to help him affirm his life choice. I hope you learned from Corey's story, his persistence, his drive, his determination to reach and define and act out a life purpose. He wants to advance people. It's a passionate desire in his heart. And through the relationships that he was able to develop, through life experiences, he was able to overcome the past, and in spite of failings, he never determined himself to be a failure. By experiencing failings in life, he chose to learn, move forward, and fail forward in those failings without feeling that he too was a failure. And some people, after having experienced failings, begin to think that they are a failure, and sometimes that invokes childhood experiences and they give up. Corey was never going to give up. You could sense the passion in his voice. He was not going to give up because he was able to overcome the past, and he had a passionate desire to want to advance people, and he's able to do that through his karate. So I hope that you have learned and benefited from this episode 3 of Corey. We hope that we can earn a 5-star rating from you and that you'll want to subscribe to this series. Corey is a very unique individual who is very talented. He has been profiled on CNN, and he has several students who have achieved some very notable successes in karate. So Corey has a very unique story, and we want to continue on with him. There will be a 4th and 5th episode that you'll want to listen in on and learn from his life experiences, that his passion to pursue a God-ordained mission and passion in his life. Marty and I are believers that when you are pursuing a God-ordained calling in your life, you are not going to miss out and fail in that, but rather you will have the sustaining power, the perseverance, and the passion to continue with that. We'd like for you to engage with us in helping us to learn of your life purposes, any challenges that you have overcome. Marty and I have also put together a digital relationship course that helps to develop relationships with people. It is dedicated to dating and marriage, where we help people to discern the right person that can complement your life. And it is useful to friendships as well. We are in the process of developing a second digital relationship course that is applicable to workplace relationships. But in this series of relationship videos or training sessions, we are helping people to determine how to be assured that you have the right life partner in the context of dating. But then the other course that we're developing is to determine what needs to be done to have a very productive, efficient workplace culture. Engage with us and let us know your thoughts, how you've overcome any past failings, how you have determined your life purpose, and how you're moving forward after having come any challenges you have overcome. We look forward to interacting with you and engaging.